What's going, guys? Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. And if you're a HIMS shareholder like me, I think you're having an absolutely fantastic day, right? You can see shares up 27.66%. In fact, it was up to almost $20 before pulling back. Why is it rallying so much? Actually, at first, I also didn't know, right? And I think TradingView is a very good place to get news. You can see that when you take a look at the stock chart, there's news here, right? So this is the most updated news, right? When I googled, I couldn't find this article, right? So shares of HIMS and hers are basically up because they release a new product, or they announced that they are going to release a new product. So this new product is basically a new offering for them, but it's not a new product on the market per se, right? It's basically a weight loss drug, right? Like GLP-1, right? And you've heard of influencers taking Ozempic and Wegovy, right? So these are drugs that basically suppress your appetite, so you'll lose weight faster, right? But I personally think that this is not too healthy, but anyways, people want to use it, so it's a free will and it's their choice, right? So basically, HIMS and hers are going to be getting into the business of doing this as well, right? Obviously, this is the market pulling forward expectations, right? You can see that this stock now, if I use 100 billion free cash flow, right? If I don't change the free cash flow assumption, it's actually getting relatively expensive, right? But I think with great stocks like this, right, execution has been extremely good. Quarter over quarter, they keep beating, right? So I think it's a good time to bring up the earnings, because you can see what happened after earnings, right? Basically, the stock was here and it was down 10% before like this hockey stick up, right? But the reason I didn't really cover the earnings is because there's nothing new in the earnings, right? My projections still stayed the same after I read the earnings and listened to the earnings call, right? And basically, in the earnings call, I didn't really get much from it, right? Obviously, I should have still made a video, but I was pretty lazy considering that there's nothing in the earnings call, right? So let's talk about execution, right? Why am I holding on to, and that's the spoiler, right? I am still holding on to my shares, right? I might trim a bit of the position, but I'm still holding on to the majority of the shares, right? I've done my trimming early on in the year when it was what? I think my average sell was 1550, right? So maybe I'm regretting it a bit now, but my portfolio was like 80% HIMS at that time, right? Because you remember that we bought somewhere around here, right? Like somewhere around here. So we are up 200% on all the shares we're still holding. So why do I think that I'm still holding on to HIMS and hers, even though I think that the valuation is slightly expensive? Because you can take a look at a stock like Teladoc, and these early days, these two were the comparisons, right? Teladoc and HIMS and hers, right? So you can see that Teladoc, if you bought any time in history, you'll be losing a lot of money, right? And throw in inflation in there and you're going to be in a world of hurt, right? So I think that the management has been executing very well. And I still think this is a 100x company, right? I said this when the valuation was about, I think, 1.5 billion. So I still think it's a 100x company from the 1.5 billion, right? So if you say 100x from here, I wouldn't be so sure, right? But you can see it's possible, because if you take a look at Eli Lilly's stock, it's 750 billion, right? But obviously they do a lot more than HIMS. But I think HIMS can slowly expand into it, right? So I think the runway is very long for this stock, and I think I'll continue holding the bulk of my shares, right? I might trim a little for a short-term pullback. You can remember that actually I trimmed here, somewhere here. I started trimming here. I trimmed about 50% of my position, and then here I added back I think 20% or something like that of the initial position, right? So right now the position is about 50% of my portfolio again. So I might trim just a bit, but not too much. So next we take a look at Novo Nordisk as well as Eli Lilly, right, which manufacture all the GLP-1, Ozempic and Wegovy drugs, right? So we can see that the stock has done tremendously over the past 5 years, right? And this is mostly thanks to Ozempic, right? Because the demand from all the people in LA and all the people with all these beauty standards and all the models are actually insane, right? And they are pushing the product onto their audience as well, right? Because imagine you are a model and you're taking this Ozempic, and then people ask you, hey, how come you lost so much weight in 3 months? How can I do it? Obviously, you recommend the product, right? Because it's done wonders for you, right? Wonders. And then so similar story with Eli Lilly, right? And you can see that why HIMS and hers are being lumped into all this, right? So they believe that in the future, they can grow into the valuation, right? So that's why shares are up so much today. So in the long term, I still think this company has a lot of potential. But I think if you're buying after this, I think it's 200% rally in not even 1 year. So it's 6 months now. I think risk definitely has increased from the time that I bought it, right? From the time I bought it, it was like a software type of retention rate, like 85% retention rate, which is still 85% retention rate. I think the turnover was like 1 year, their marketing. Basically, if they spend $10 on marketing, in a year, they'll get back the $10, right? And at that time, it was like, in my projections, it was 15 times free cash flow, right? And it was growing 50, 60, 70% year over year. So then it's not that risky, right? But now you can see that it's if I use 100 million free cash flow, it's about 40 times free cash flow now, right? So what's the stock gonna do? Obviously, I don't know. I'm not a prophet. I don't know whether it's gonna go up, down, sideways. But I think that currently the risk is elevated. I would not be jumping in. If I wanted to buy the stock, I would wait for a pullback, right? As you can see, you have to be okay, right, with letting stocks run away from you, right? Because sometimes you see, I sold somewhere here, I sold somewhere here. I could have been panicking and said, oh my god, I missed another 13% rally. But I started buying again when it was somewhere here, right? Like 12 something. And then I bought, I think somewhere here, like, yeah, I didn't manage to buy here because it was like a 1 day dip or something like that, right? So yeah, sometimes you'll miss the train, right? And there's so many tickers out there, so many stocks, so many cryptos, right? So you won't always be on the one that does the best, right? But if you're patient, I think there will be a pullback opportunity for sure. Or this will go to 50 in the next year, right? I have no idea, right? So yeah, that's about all I wanted to share. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button. With that being said, have a fantastic day ahead and peace out.